Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you all have had a fantastic week. Can I just say, I always look forward to coming back to this space on Thursdays after we've been away for that day. It's nice to be able to play catch up and check in on things, but I always look forward to coming back to the chair and spending time with you all and resuming our conversation where it left off. So, with that, good morning. Welcome to the Blueprint. To anyone who is new, let me introduce myself. My name is Kim Blue. I am an HR strategist and a career coach. And most importantly, I am the host of the Blueprint. This is the space where we come Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk all things professional development, career development, strategy, action planning, because I believe everyone should be the boss of their own blueprint. And what that means is you should have access to the knowledge, skills, capabilities, and resources so that you can do three key things. You can operate at your highest potential, you can add value to the work that you own or are responsible for. And most importantly, you can be your most authentic self, because when you are authentic, when you are you, you show up the way that you want to be experienced or the way you want people to see you. And when you're doing that, that confidence comes through and the value that you are going to add to whatever you're doing goes up. And that is most assuredly the way that you're operating at your highest potential. So that's why we're here. That is the entire reason that I come and host this space. You all allow me to be my most authentic self and truly operate at my highest potential and in my gifts. And I very much enjoy the time that we have together during our conversation. So, with that, let's do a little bit of housekeeping and let's see who's coming in. I see folks making their way into the chat already. So, few housekeeping reminders. Today is the last day of the manifestation part of our momentum month. Next week, we will jump into motivation, because once you kind of have your idea and your belief, you got to be motivated to move forward. And that's a lot of where momentum comes from. Um, if you haven't already, please go out and cast your vote for the BIPOC Streamer Awards for Twitch. So many amazing DJs and streamers who are out there. The link is, I think, in my post. I think Jen posted it as well. But so many folks who are nominated for these awards also have them up. So be checking out people's Instagrams or their channel pages, wherever they put information. Go vote. Thank you for whomever. Thank you for whomever nominated the Blueprint for an award for the Chatterbox Award. I am just excited to be nominated, even if I don't win. It's just the fact that you feel like this is space where you can come in and get something and take something away. That's most important. So support the folks who are out there bringing you their best gifts and operating at their highest potential every day, right? So with that, oh, and then just a reminder, the last week of the month, the week of Memorial Day, there will be no Blueprint. Okay. I am going to take that week off. It is the young prince's first full week out of school for the summer. And so he and I are going to kick up our heels and enjoy. So there's no Blueprint that week. And we'll make sure we start putting reminders in the IG announcements for sure. As we get closer, so that you all aren't looking for me that week. And then we'll come back the first week of June. Okay. So with that, thank you all so much for being here, for continuing to support this space. Let's see who is in the chat. Lots of people are coming in and saying good morning. So to my mod bosses, Misty Christie 214, My Lock Journey, good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for your patience. It looks like Stream Elements is working again, and so the commands are working, which is very exciting, because we now have some chat commands that I think are going to be released next week. Right, these are commands that you all can use when you're communicating to each other. So stepping my streamer game up just a little bit. Huge shout out to Misty Christie for working with me behind the scenes to kind of correct and get some things together. So I appreciate that. But good morning to my mods. Good morning to Juana. Nice to see you. Always good to have you here. Good morning, LV. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the re-up, LV. I missed it the other day. So appreciate you. 5 months on the shout out. Insert the DJ LV sound effect. But I appreciate you being here and supporting me literally from day one. Miss Soul Power, good morning. Good morning to you. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Jen, good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you, Jen, for putting the reminder in the chat about voting for your favorite streamer DJ. Please go do that. I think last stream, My Light Journey put the link for voting into the chat. And so if you don't mind putting that in again, My Light Journey, that would be fantastic. Though you can go to Instagram and find it. It's probably all over. So if you're voting for folks, continue to vote, continue to share, right? I've seen a lot of people put the voting in their stories over the last couple of days. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all that. C Love 702, Lushana 1908. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for being here. Happy to have you with us. Serial Sensei, good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you for being here. Reason, I know you are here, but you are not here. All good on the lurk. Can you keep doing what you are doing? Finesse, good morning. Fire stream last night. Finesse, I had such a great time. Thank you so much. If you are not giving some of these amazing folks a follow, one reason, I know DJ LV, DJ Finesse, right? Amazing folks who are out here doing all types of great things. Go follow them, right? Following is free in the words of LV. So go do it and thank me later. Okay. Anyone else who has come in that I have not seen? Good morning, Johnny. Nice to see you. Shout out to Beach United Radio. Please add him to your follow list. There's always amazing music happening in that stream. Every time I go there, whether I'm lurking or whether I have the opportunity to be active in the chat, I always come away learning something or hearing a new version of something that I didn't know about before. And that is what I value most about that channel. Yes, LV. Yes, LV. Listen, you got after me so bad the other day, right? So I'm giving you your flowers publicly. Okay, so there you go. So who else is in here? I think Miss Soul Power, thank you so much for the re-up. Appreciate you for continuing to support this space. Did I get everybody? Let me see here. Martian Queen, good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in, welcome in. Greg the Godfather, good afternoon. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Greg the Godfather's got some good things happening behind the scenes. He's very quietly keeping me in the know of his career journey that's happening over there. So he's got some good things happening. So shout out to you, Greg the Godfather, for being here. And thank you for sharing that. So if I missed anyone, please make sure you say hello in the chat and I will absolutely give you a shout out. Shout out to everyone who was watching from YouTube as well. We have been leveraging that, and I am slowly but surely getting that YouTube space a little more up and running. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge our YouTube folks, and also shout out to everyone who is working, lurking, and commuting. I know the mornings are the time everybody gets grounded and gets themselves settled. So if it is more in service to you to just lurk behind the scenes and listen, virtual salute. Thank you so much for being here. But you're welcome to come in and interact in the chat anytime. Okay. Yes, Greg the Godfather. So so lots of good things that have been happening this month. We are rounding out week 1 of our May series. It is all about gaining momentum, keeping momentum, and making sure that we are kind of taking that fire under our feet and figuring out what to do with it. Okay. So when we think about momentum and when we think about all of the things that come with moving forward, we've been talking about manifestation because ultimately it starts with this idea that's in your mind. And it starts with this belief that you have, right? That we want to be able to do something. And we also get into this notion of what's the energy that I have around something or towards something. Listen, I think it's been a while, right? So in case you were wondering where he is, there he is right there. There he is right there. Now that I've changed my office around, he has decided that, there you go, the head of security, making his presence known. He has now decided that he's going to be right at my feet because now that I'm out of the corner, he has more space to be at where my desk is. And so he's got a blanket right at my feet because that's as close as he can get short of being in my lap. So Griffin is here in case you were wondering where he is, right? He's literally right there. So yes, the fur baby, C Love 702, the fur baby is literally right here. So Greg the Godfather, yes, Griffin, ladies and gentlemen. So we were talking about momentum. We were talking about this notion of manifestation and really getting your heart in alignment with the ideas and beliefs that come with it. And we talked about defining momentum. I'm going to pull our slides up and add them in just a moment. But we talked about momentum and really defining what that is and understanding how it plays a part in Finesse. He's a big dog, Finesse, but he's really, really sweet. I will say that. But his bark is, it's menacing if you've never heard it before. If you've never heard it before, and he's very close to me, so that probably makes it sound more like a bear than not. So here is the roadmap for the month. We're finishing out manifestation, right? Turning our ideas into reality. That's what it says underneath my picture. Then next week, we're going to talk about motivation. Okay. So are we ready, willing, and able? Sometimes we are ready and we're not able to do it, whether it's physical reasons or, other things that are playing a part in it. So how do we get all three in alignment to be ready, willing, and able? And then moderation, right? So how do we balance those extremes, meaning my pace or how much volume I have of something, right? Or am I taking care of myself during this whole manifestation journey or my journey towards whatever I am working on or what I'm turning away from? So no, Finesse, I'm not going to tell the burglars that. I'm not going to tell them he's sweet at all. So, I'm just going to let them find out on their own, right? And then mobilization. How do we get all of our resources together? Resources are people, information, technology, whatever we need to see ourselves through. That's what makes up our momentum method. Okay. That's our 4 M's for the month. So we're rounding out all the things about momentum and getting the wind beneath our wings and really moving forward. And that's what we're going to finish out today and start to prep for momentum, in particular, as we get to the decide, commit, and focus. Because oftentimes what happens in momentum is we get going, and then sometimes our focus can be distracted by environmental things or whatever the case may be. So it's important that right after manifestation, we keep that momentum up. So that's where we're going to go next week. If you are taking notes, here is sort of how you can kind of plan and know what it is that we're talking about. For those who anticipate that toes might be stepped on just a smidgen right now, you can be ready. I don't know if Hobbs is in here yet, right? But you can be ready for all of this. So this is the roadmap for May, ladies and gents, and how we're going to do this thing. So Big Ed Smith, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Thursday. Big Stove, good morning, King. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for the re-up. Appreciate you. 5 months already. Man, I cannot believe that we have been doing this for 5 months, you all. And it blows my mind every day that we are moving forward, right, in the best possible way, and that's together. Because knowing that you've got the right people around you or good people around you that you can chop it up with, but that can also hold you lovingly and respectfully accountable is the best way to move. So appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, Big Stove, for the re-up. Good morning, East Smiley 67. Nice to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Did I catch everybody? I think I caught everybody on the good morning. So, all right. So let's jump right in and do a quick recap. So this has been our quote for the week, right? Asking for what you want, but also being prepared to get it. And this is sometimes where that motivation comes in, because we may discover in our manifestation process that there's something blocking us. That, right, when I talk about being ready, willing, and able, we might be mentally ready, but are we willing and able? And sometimes that willingness means that we know the work that's going to have to come in. We know how we're going to have to sacrifice, shift, or surrender. Oh, somebody write that down. Sometimes in the process of manifestation, we recognize that we might have to sacrifice, shift, or surrender. Sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's all three, and it keeps us blocked. And that may be the thing that keeps us from being prepared to receive what it is that we are asking for. Good morning, Wiggs. Nice to see you in, Wiggs. Welcome back. I hope you are feeling better. Always good to have you in the chat. Okay. So sometimes in being prepared to receive it, we have to check in with ourselves. Are we ready to sacrifice? Are we ready to make that shift? Are we ready to surrender? whatever it is that we are doing, right? Manifesting that life, manifesting that idea, bringing this thing that we have only talked about and dreamed about to some level of reality for whatever reason. Okay. All of those things are important. When we ask for what it is that we want, we do have to be prepared to receive it, because it will not come likely in the way that we think, or in the way that we have designed it, or the way that we anticipated it. And that is what is huge about this quote, is because we can put the ask out there, but are we prepared? And that's where the motivation, moderation, and mobilization comes into place, right? So think about that as we go into the next part of our conversation for today and for next week, because when we get to the end of our conversation today, we're going to talk about the rest of the manifestation method and 4 key things that I want you to take away from here. So if you don't have your pens, ask someone in the chat if you can borrow one, get your notepads ready, because we're going to dive in and really set ourselves up for motivation next week, right? So in being prepared to receive it, let me say it one more time. That preparation looks like, are you ready to sacrifice, shift, or surrender? Sometimes it's just one, sometimes it is all 3. Good morning, Boho Ikigai. Welcome in. Or sorry, good afternoon to you. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Okay. So sacrifice, shift, or surrender. Write those words down, because you're going to hear them again. Okay. We talked about momentum. Key point from this is more of what moves you forward, less of what holds you back. Because the things that hold you back, ladies and gentlemen, are where that sacrifice, shift, and surrender are going to come in. Because you can't gain that momentum. You can't tap into that energy until you have shifted away from something that might be holding you back, or that you might have an attachment to, or that you're surrendering, right? You're surrendering the struggle. You're surrendering whatever it is that's kind of keeping you stuck or in this place. That's the main thing that I want everybody to remember from this when we talk about momentum. And this is going to show up in every single week's slide that we do, right? But it's all about doing the things that move you forward and less of what holds you back. So how can you be in a space where you are less likely to insert whatever that is, right? And get into a positive action or a positive motion. So when we think about momentum, that's what's most important here. We talked about manifestation and the law of attraction. They are directly related. The manifestation is thoughts and feelings and beliefs, right? We talked about that at the top of the conversation. And then turning them into physically reality. That belief meaning you have such a connection to what it is that you know you should be doing, want to do, have been gifted to do in whatever way that is, that it doesn't go away. Anybody in here ever get an idea or know they're supposed to do something and they literally just keep thinking about it until you either do it, say it, or figure out how to do something with it, about it, right? Once I have an idea about something, it will stay with me until I absolutely start to move in that direction. That's my manifestation. I literally feel it's the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. It's the last thing I think about before I close my eyes, right? Every time I walk past it or I have something to do with it, it's something that shows up in me. Take my office, for example, right? I looked at this space for 5 months trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, and trying to understand how I could curate this space in a way that was going to be fiscally responsible. Because I think I told everybody that in November, I laid myself off, right? Because that was my role. And I had sort of come through all that. And I had kind of 3 months to get everything together. And so I knew that I didn't need to be spending willy-nilly, but I also knew that I needed a space that was going to be functional. And so I literally started to manifest at the top of when I started this stream, what I'm going to do in this space. I moved things around in December of last year to be able to start streaming. And it sat still for 4 months, 4.5 months. It's only in the last 2 weeks that my manifestation has come to fruition, that all of the things that I was putting into place came. And so then the idea came to me about how I could get the space. And I started looking around and started coming to terms with, oh, if I do this, This is what's going to happen. But it kept showing up for me. My brain would not shut off about it, right? Because it was something that I knew I needed to do. And so it will absolutely stay with you, which then connects you to the law of attraction, which says as you put things, good things out there, that's what will come back to you. As you put negative things out there, that may also come back to you. So you attract what you put out, period. So if you want good, put more of that out there. If you want it, and really that's anything, folks. It's love, it's good energy, it's peace, it is fill in the blank. But whatever it is that you want more of, give that when you have the opportunity. In this case, I wanted a space that had good energy, that was going to allow me to function and do everything that I'm doing now. Okay. And I got it. It took some time and it wasn't on my time. And I had to, that's what I had to surrender, right? I had to surrender the schedule. In this case, for me, my surrender was the schedule because I wanted it now, but I couldn't have it then, right? I needed to just be content in the space that I was in and allow things to organically come. And I was able to turn my desire into a reality pretty quickly, right? Absolutely, Barb, right? You're saying that, right? And so there's this whole process of like kind of, right? I call it the Phoenix Phenom, right? Which is where I'm going in, right? This season of letting things burn off of me so I can be reborn into whatever my next, right? Or my now is. But it can't always happen on your time. Some things just have to align and some things just have to come into play wherever they are. So good morning. Hey, Daisy B, nice to see you. All good on the lurk. Appreciate you being here. DJ Purpose 214, happy Thursday to you. Welcome in. So this notion around manifestation and attraction always go together, okay? Sometimes you don't turn things into reality right away. Sometimes you have to wait. And that's where the moderation comes in because patience shows up in moderation. Patience also shows up in this part of the process, right? When we talk about what are you going to sacrifice, where are you going to shift, or what are you going to surrender, there's some patience that you have to give during all of those parts of the journey. We talked about manifestation in 4 key steps, and we had a guest this week. Nikisha Hicks joined us on Tuesday. She is my good friend and sister who is out here doing the work just like I am. She is super passionate about it. And as you saw, right, I learned a ton from her. She really was my reinforcer. And literally, I know that part of her purpose was to bring me to mine. And it happened so fast because as quickly as I got into her space and had got comfortable with that being my rhythm, she then left it and it opened up this whole pathway for me to build everything that we're doing. Because remember, in Clubhouse, it was just my voice. There were no slides, there was no streaming, there was no video, none of that at all. And now it is all manifested into this thing. But that started in 2020, right? In 2021, and it's now 2023. So this was a 2-year manifestation of me knowing that I wanted to start connecting with people, maybe in podcast form, maybe in some other form. I don't know. All I know was that I wanted to be doing this, and now I'm doing it in ways that I never even thought. And so I had to start with taking action and literally beginning with where I was. And over the course of those years, really getting clear on outlining what it was that I wanted to be doing. That year, those 2 years for me was a big pause because I was still working. There were lots of things happening in my environment that needed to change. But if I look at where I am now, I was working full time. And so Clubhouse was what I could manage. It's what my life could manage. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this when we get to moderation in 2 weeks. When we talk about that, right, I could not manage more than what I was doing because of the way my personal schedule was, the way my professional schedule was. And so I had to take smaller actions. But in between all of that, I was journaling. I was writing things down. I had ideas in my phone, right? I've got notes in my phone, you guys, from 2017, things that I have written down, things, scriptures, notes, verses, things that people have said to me that are just powerful and meaningful because those things are still manifesting. And every time I go and look at my phone, I think, should I delete this? And I go to myself, no, because you could come back to that in some way. There's going to be a purpose for you connecting with that. Those things are forms of affirmations for me. It's me inviting the good in. It's me saying to myself, I need to connect back to my clarity or to see, does this still make sense for where I am? And it helps me realign my focus forward and get really clear on saying, what is it that I need to be doing? Who do I need to be speaking to? How do I need to be asking for this? Is there the right time for me to get clear on all of the ideas that I've written down? Do I need to go back to those ideas and see, do I still believe in them? Do I still feel the same? Right? Anybody ever had an idea that you thought was amazing, and then all of a sudden over time, as you started to get into it, you shifted away from that idea, or you decided, I don't think I want to do that anymore? This isn't actually the thing that I thought it was going to be, or I don't have the same feeling or energy or thoughts around this. But you were so gun ho about it. And then when someone says, what happened? You go, I don't know, right? That just, I don't feel the same, or it doesn't give me the same type of energy, or whatever the, excuse me, whatever the case may be. All of that, excuse me, everyone, all of that comes into play when we think about manifestation. Remember, I talked about sacrifice, shift, and surrender. You can shift away from a belief or an idea in the midst of manifesting it, because it actually may be part of the process to get you to something bigger or greater or more intentional. And it can be confusing when you're in this process, when you're in this journey of saying, well, if I started here, why am I now shifting away from that? Or what's now showing up for me? Or how do I now get here? Good morning, Dr. Donna Dundas. Thursday blessings right back to you. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in. So when we think about this whole notion of manifestation, creating your safe space on paper, sometimes writing down your list and getting that positivity in front of you, creating that clarity or connecting to that clarity. That is all a part of the journey, even if things shift. Sometimes part of that journaling is 2 weeks ago, this was the thing I thought I wanted to do, and now it's not. I actually want to stay away from that. I don't think I want to do that thing anymore the way that I thought I was going to do it. So now, if we go all the way back to that imperative 11, this is where we're looking at, is that the right decision? Right? When we talked about decision qualities, or is this the thing that I really want to be investing in? Do I need to stay agile and flexible to say, I started here, this is not the right thing, and so now I need to make a pivot away from that or towards something else, whatever that may be. And so when we think about that, that's where we really get clear in, now am I leveraging my circles, my corners, right? Who are the people that are riding with me, that are in my foxhole, that are making sure that I am grounded, capable, connected, right? That my head and my heart are in the right place. And that they're reminding me to embrace the good, even when the bad or even when the less than desirable is showing up. Absolutely, Boho Ikigai, right? You are evolving. And so sometimes the thing that you thought was appealing is not, right? Sometimes manifestations grow us up, right? They grow you up in real time and you don't even know it. It's like you used to have a taste for something to eat or something sweet, and all of a sudden that taste or that desire for that thing goes away because you've actually started manifesting something, and not knowing that in order for that manifestation to happen, you may shift away from or towards other things. It actually happens in real time, and you may not connect the dots until you've reached the end of this manifestation, whatever that is, right? Dr. Donna Dundas, thank you so much for the ball spits. Appreciate you. My Stita, welcome in. Thank you so much for the ball spits. Good to see you, right? Please give my Stita a follow if you are not. Always dope music over there. Thank you so much, right? Understand that the manifestation is real, right? And Barbara said it, you are evolving, and this is the thing that is not appealing to you. That may be intentional as we move into the manifestation and the process of what it is that we're doing. So let's go to the part that actually talks about doing the work. So we talked about the 4 components of manifestation. But what I want to do now, and I'm going to take myself out of just for a second so you can see the whole slide, is really talk about when we're doing the work, what is it that we're doing? What is it that is showing up? How are we doing the work? How do we know when things start to shift? How do we know when things are moving in the direction? Thank you all for the hype train that I see has just been kicked off. Appreciate that. Always welcomed and appreciated, never, never required, right? I am here because I love this and I love it. And I will tell you how much I love it because I am not feeling fantastic at all. You may not be able to tell by my energy, but I am not feeling fantastic. I am fortunate to be able to do some consultant work next Wednesday all day. And the work that I am doing requires that I go because it's at a hospital, right? And so it requires that I, meet several requirements. One of which is to have an updated COVID booster and a flu shot. And so it had been a year since my last one. So yesterday I got a COVID booster in one arm and a flu shot in the other arm. And so while you are experiencing my energy, I saved it all up because what you all don't know is that I am not feeling 100% this morning. So I right, that's how I know I love it, period, because I'm here even though I don't feel great, and I did not want to miss any of this. I did not want to shut this down because this is what gives me energy. So love, love, love all of this. Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, E Smiley, for the boss bits. Appreciate you. Again, thank you all for the hype train. Like I said, always appreciated, never required, right? All of that. So if it seems like I'm kind of even keeled in my voice, it's because I'm managing I'm managing my energy a little bit. So um thank you so much for who is it? Misty Christie. Thank you so much for the re-up. Appreciate you on this. I think Misty Christie is it 6 months, Misty Christie, right? Absolutely, see Love 702. The shots can really kind of ease you down a little bit. So I made sure that I got some rest last night so I would have my energy for this morning. But today I'm definitely going to be kind of even kill. It's all in the name of good work for K Blue Consulting. So I'll take it. But definitely feeling it. But to me, that's how I know that this is my purpose because I still got up this morning and was like, but I want to do it and I got the energy to be able to do it. So I'm going to make it happen. Thank you, Big Stove, for the bits. Appreciate you. Misty Christie, thank you for the bits. Thank you all for the well wishes. I am going to take care of myself today after our stream. I actually have only one client call early this morning. And then after that, I have a couple of hours where I can just kind of post up on the couch with my laptop and work, and I don't have to be giving my energy in this capacity. So thank you all for all of the love and all of the care check-ins. So when we talk about and for the hype train, of course. So when we talk about doing the work and when we talk about all of the things that are happening, right? We just talked about kind of evolving in real time. And thank you, Boho Ikigai, for putting that up there, right? That comment around because you're changing and evolving, your tastes, your appetite, your energy may shift, right? So, sacrifice, surrender, and shifts. Okay. Even if you don't understand it in real time, part of this journey is reflecting. Okay. And that's really taking the time to understand whether it is in your real time or whether it is after the fact, where you're going, where you have been, right? All of the things that you want to do, because you're going to have to understand these checkpoints along this manifestation journey. Mystita with the 5-piece. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Appreciate you. Shout out to everyone who has received a sub. If you received a sub from Mystita, please, please, please make sure that you say thank you. Because right, this is what this is. This is all about building community. So Mystita, thank you so much. And if you are not following Mystita, please do so. Okay. Appreciate the 5-piece. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hype train is continuing at level 2. When we talk about reflection, right? This notion of I'm realizing things in real time. Sometimes reflection doesn't always have to come after the fact, ladies and gentlemen. When we pause, right, and we talked on the last slide about being productive in the pause, sometimes that productivity in the pause is spending time in reflection. Okay, so how are things going? What is it that I have been doing? Right? What's working and what's not working. On the last slide, one of the things we haven't talked about is this notion of stop, start, continue. And this is something you may want to write down because it helps you really get clarity on everything that's happening and get organized in your brain and in your heart and maybe recognize what you have shifted away from, right? Miss Soul Power, thank you so much for the gift sub to Mystita. Appreciate you, right? Oh, my Steve, thank you so much. I appreciate that for you inviting some of your HR members. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's awesome. I hope they enjoy it if they're in. So shout out to anyone who my Stita has invited in. If you were watching either on Twitch or on YouTube, welcome to the Blueprint. Happy to have you as a part of the community. Thank you so much. So when we talk about stop, start, continue, good morning, HR nerd. Nice to see you. Let's talk about what that is as a part of the reflection. As a part of the reflection. So when we talk about starting, what are the things that I'm not doing that I should be doing? It's as simple as that. When we talk about starting, what am I not doing that I should be? Meaning, am I not meeting with this person? Am I not subscribed to this publication? Am I not following this person on LinkedIn or whatever it is that I should be doing, right? What are those things, right? Beach United, thank you so much for the boss bits. Appreciate you, right? And thank you all for the hype train. Stop is, what am I doing that I should not be doing? That's not helping, that's not contributing, that's not adding value. Because if the things that you are doing are not adding value, then in turn, you yourself cannot add value to something, whatever that looks like. So, start is, what am I not doing that I should be doing? And stop is, what am I doing that's not really helping that I need to just let go, right? That's the surrender part of this, or the shift. Okay. And then the continue is, what's working, right? And what do I need to just let, right? If it's cooking, let it cook, right? Do I need to just let that breathe? I don't need to disrupt anything. I don't need to stop. I don't need to mess with anything. That works. It doesn't hurt anything. It actually helps. So let me keep that exactly the way that it is. So stop, start, continue. Definitely a part of the reflection process that you want to make sure you're embedding in. And it's not a hard thing to do. You don't have to always do all three of them. Sometimes you can just say, man, what's really not working? Because I'm good on what's working. So what is not working so that I now know what I need to be doing, what I need to start doing. It's a really easy way for you to check in with yourself and not feel so compelled to, like, sit in a dark room with a candle with eyes closed and reflect. You can do that if that is in fact the way that you do it, but you don't have to do that. You can absolutely just get clear on what's working, what's not working, and how do I make this something that I want to do as a part of my life every day, right? Change management is next. Listen, folks, what got you here won't get you there. It's the first line of that. What am I now needing to change? Or accepting that some things are going to have to stop or be different in order for this manifestation that I am looking for to help, right? In order for me to get there, I actually have to change this, or I have to add that, or I have to do more or less. I'm sorry if you all can hear the dog snoring in the background, but he is seriously snoring. He's snoring pretty loud. So when we think about all of this, right? Thank you all so much for the hype train. So much appreciation for you, for all of the bits and the gifted subs. And again, if you received a gifted sub, please say thank you to the person who gifted it to you, right? All of that is extremely, extremely appreciated, as are you, right? So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. When you get to a place where you recognize everything that I have been doing has taken me as far as it can go, I now need to be doing more, or I now need to be doing something different, or I now need to say, I've gotten myself to the point where I need to bring in help, right? I need to, if you were watching yesterday on LinkedIn, where I was on Nikisha Hicks show, she talked about having reinforcements. Sometimes that's letting someone stand in for you for a brief moment, for an extended period of time, whatever that is. I had technical difficulties the other day, right? Keisha Hicks rolled right with it because she does this work. So she was my reinforcement. She stood in for me because I needed help, right? KB Browns, happy Thursday, King. Welcome in. Always good to have you with us, okay? We are going through the doing the work part of manifestation. So grab somebody, give KB Browns a pen so he can get these notes, okay? What we know, ladies and gentlemen, and what I will say is that I will that I was able to stand in yesterday for her. If you were watching on LinkedIn, she said I had a whole emotional moment, right? And I just rolled right with it. And I was like, you take your time, friend, right? The change happens in real time. And so sometimes we have to recognize that if we've been doing it all on our own for so long, let someone help you. That may be the change. If you got here by doing it, by bootstrapping it, by surrendering, I mean, doing it all, surrender yourself and ask for help. Change is the constant thing, right? And when you are manifesting, it requires patience to support the very thing that you're going after. Wiggs, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Appreciate you. To Pisces 20th century. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. When you start to embrace change as a part of your manifestation, you recognize that sometimes the shift, the sacrifice, and the surrender are necessary. And when you're doing that, you can give yourself more patience, more grace. I'm going to skip accountability for just a minute. We're going to go over to this notion of grace. And in those truths, as you start to accept them, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to be able to say, man, I didn't know it was going to be like this. I had no idea that this was going to show up in this way, right? I didn't know I was going to feel like this. I didn't know that it would, right? How many of you start to have ever felt emotions and said, man, I didn't think I had that in me, or I didn't know it was going to hit me this hard. When you do the work, when you're in that space of reflection, when you embrace that change, when you start to get to this place of, I'm not who I was. I don't desire that anymore. I have grown up. I have evolved. Right? It's like the day where you decide, I used to love, hanging out, doing all these types of things. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm interested in a different type of space, a different type of crowd, a different type of fun, whatever that is. It's all change. And you have to be kind to yourself because sometimes, right, the world is not going to give you that same level of grace, but you can give it to yourself. You can give yourself grace along this journey. And listen, it's going to require all types of currency, folks. And I've listed a few up there: time, energy, patience, right? Emotion. All of that is currency. And if you don't spend that currency wisely, giving yourself that grace, allowing yourself to be, in the moment, discovering in real time, it's going to be hard for you to stay accountable because you're going to be so hard on yourself thinking, I should have done it this way, right? I should have shown up, or I didn't do this, right? And instead of being kind to yourself, you're going to be beating yourself up and kicking yourself around why things didn't go the right way or what you could have done better. And sometimes it's just as simple as giving yourself grace. The only thing you have to be accountable to, is yourself in this journey. You being accountable to you, right? You have to be accountable to your choices. Mostly, though, you're accountable to your beliefs, your decisions, your ideas. You own them. They are yours. You're not giving them away. You are doing the work and allowing the environment around you to support you to get you where you need to be. So let's say, for example, if we're doing this in the professional space, right? You're looking for a new job, or you're starting to think about, where you want to go next, if you want to evolve, if you want to get to a place where you're saying, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to do something different, I'm ready to try whatever. You have to be accountable to that choice. You have to spend time in reflection, and you have to be okay saying, you know what, even if now is not the right time, I'm going to be ready in this moment. And so my accountability is to make sure that I'm showing up, that I'm asking the questions, that I'm being curious, that I'm getting in front of the right people who are going to be able to help me and to show me how I can be successful here. And you're giving yourself grace because you're learning in real time what changes that you need to make. Does everybody see the connection between these four: reflection, change, accountability, and grace? Sometimes they all move in and out of each other. Sometimes they all are the things that you need to focus on. Sometimes it's just one thing that you need to focus on. Sometimes I just need to give myself grace, because until I give myself grace, I can't reflect, because I'm not allowing myself to slow down, right? And I can't do anything else. Misty Christie, thank you so much for the gift sub to Christina Music Socks of all of fam. Appreciate you, right? Oh, So when we think about all of the ways that we need to move, right? The ways that we need to be, these four things are what underscores, right, are the foundation of when we take action, right? When we embrace ourselves on this journey, when we decide that we're going to journal or get a list or get our ideas together, how we are going to set our environment in a way that we want to um, present ourselves prepared. Because what did Keisha Hicks say the other day, right? You show yourself the way you want people to see you, right? All of those things are intentional. But in showing yourself, you have to spend time reflecting on who you are, right? She talked about those I am statements, right? I am dope. I am energetic. I am worthy. I am enough. Christina Music Stocks Hall of Fame, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, right? All of that is a part of how you set yourself up for change, how you give yourself grace, how you are accountable to things, whatever those things are, because your accountabilities may change, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to make sure that you know they might change. And that as those accountabilities change, you give yourself grace during that accountability. Christina, thank you so much for being here. Happy to have you, right? You're welcome anytime. Okay. I know you were busy over there. So thank you for being here. It is important, folks, that you make the connection between these four things, because this is what allows you to have the grace to do your work or the work. So when you spend time in reflection, that reflection time, and we're just going to jump back to this slide really quickly, that reflection time allows you to understand what actions you need to take or think about the actions that you're already taking. It allows you to journal, to get organized, right? It allows your affirmations to come to light. And this is where, in that reflection, okay, you can be intentional about saying, what is working well, right? I talked about stop, start, continue. Does everybody see it underneath here? It's underneath journaling, right? Understand your approach. Think about where you are and where you want to be. Is it the same? Has it changed? Are you really growing or have you grown? Is where you started still where you are? Oftentimes it's not. And you need to check in with yourself to see, how am I moving my own needle? How am I celebrating my wins? Anybody in here really do something great and then spend time going, man, I slayed that. I did my thing on that. Or do we just go, whew, okay, now that's over and I'm now on to the next thing. If you don't spend time celebrating your wins, you can't affirm yourself. It's difficult for you to accept and give yourself grace if you don't do the work of saying, I did a great job on that. And I just want to acknowledge that in this moment, I've got some success. In this moment, I'm moving in the direction that I need to. In this moment, right, I am saying to myself, man, I killed my stream today, right? Listen, folks, there are times I get out of this stream and Misty Christie 214 and My Light Journey are in my text messages immediately like, listen, you did that. And I'm like, really? Because I felt like this. And they're like, absolutely not. This was this, you did this, you said, right? All of those things, right? Okay. So is it Letitia P? I just want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. Yes. Good morning and welcome in. You can tell me in the chat if I'm saying it correctly or not. Right? It can feel like you're bragging, but here's the thing. There's a difference between truly bragging because you want people to know, okay, awesome, Letitia P, thank you. So welcome in. There's a difference truly between bragging because you want people to know, and acknowledging your growth, acknowledging the work, acknowledging your engagement, right? The fact that you gave yourself great. Celebrating yourself is wildly undervalued. We absolutely have to spend more time celebrating ourselves. And when you, in that reflection, take time to journal, take time to write down your wins, that makes it easier for you to accept change, for you to give yourself that grace, and for you to stay accountable to yourself, to the journey, to whatever shows up. All of that Oh, Christina, right. I am guilty of that too. Christina says she doesn't recognize, let's put that up here because that's important, right? Christina says, I also don't recognize my achievements as actual achievements until someone points it out. Anybody else downplay the work that they're doing, right? Anybody else? Someone says, man, you did that. And you're like, oh, it was really like this person that did that, or, that's just it, it's it's no big deal, right? Anybody else say that? Like you literally someone says something to you and you go, it's no big deal. You have to celebrate yourself. You have to be okay accepting other people's flowers if you're not going to plant your own. Because once you plant them, you then have to water them and nurture them, right? And your accountability, right, comes back to this. And now your accountability is to watering your own flowers. And if you can't water your own flowers, ladies and gentlemen, they will die. And the flowers that others give you will die, right? So spend time getting comfortable in that space where you can water your own flowers. Okay. Martian Queen says we have every right to brag on our wins, especially to the person in the mirror. Come on and say that again for everybody in the chat. Because if the person in the mirror can't accept the good that they have done, how is the world going to be able to receive it? This is where all of those things come in: grace, reflection, comfort with the change, and then being accountable. Because the minute you are able to accept your wins, accept the good things that you are doing, and accept the fact that 5 days ago you were here and 7 days ago you were there, and now look at where you are. You have to be able to acknowledge that, because that is literally a part of the manifestation journey. You cannot not acknowledge your wins, right? Oh my goodness. Letitia P says she's felt shut down over the years, so she stays silent. Your voice is your greatest currency. That's what I say back to you. Okay. Your voice is your greatest currency, and you use your voice in order to celebrate your wins, even if it's with yourself. I challenge you today to look in the mirror and say, this morning I got up, I took a walk, I ate breakfast, and I gave myself time to listen to the blueprint. I have done something for me. And when is the last time I have done something for me? And have this conversation with yourself. You might feel silly, but you do it and it will work. And the more that you repeat it, because what did we talk about in April when we talked about actions, right? Actions have to be repeated. So you have to keep taking those actions in order to do this, in order for this to be a part of you giving yourself grace, reflecting, right? All of those things. All of that comes into play when we talk about this. Okay? HR Nerd says that person is me. We have to do the work, right? And so sometimes it's really in it, right? And C Love 702 says, hold on, did I miss your comment, C Love? I probably skipped past it, right? You have to pop your own collar. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. You do. You do have to pop your own collar. You have to be comfortable celebrating your wins. And when you don't celebrate your wins, you always stay in this space of turning back on that table. Now I'm not good enough. Now I can't give myself grace. And that accountability becomes negatively rooted, and we're not in any other place. Good morning, DJ Droopy. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And you're exactly right. If you can back it up, right? In these streets, we call it receipts. Where are the receipts? Who is out here, right? Let me show you exactly what I have done and capable of, where I was, where I wasn't. Good morning, Disco Darren. Nice to see you. I know you're lurking. All good. All right. All of that comes into play when we have to give ourselves grace. Good morning, Marcia No Brady. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Marcia No Brady put it right in the chat. She said, I have done something for me. She took the time out to get here. I hope it has been exactly what you wanted it to be, my friend, whatever that is for you, right? Take that away and let it drive you into whatever day you are going to have. And I hope you have an amazing day, right? Because you are here. Listen, C Love 702, you got to celebrate however you can. Dance, write it down, call somebody and say, hey, listen, can I just tell you something good that happened? That's a great way, right? You're not bragging on yourself, but you can say, can I just tell you something good that has happened? That's a great way. And you can say, I was able to this, that, and the third story, whatever it is, right? But you can say all of that and talk about the work that you have done and just identify it as something good. that has happened. So Marcia No Brady, I was going to say Martian Queen, right? It is, I agree with you, Martian Queen. It is a win for the day. And Marcia No Brady, I'm happy that you started out your day by doing something for you, because we will sacrifice ourselves, but we need to surrender the sacrifice sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We absolutely need to surrender the sacrifice. That is important. So, when we are talking about giving ourselves grace, when we are talking about being accountable, when we're talking about receiving the changes, right? Let's be intentional in our reflection time about doing that and ensuring that we take time to shout out our wins to ourselves first, or tell somebody something good, right? Sometimes people talk to me or they'll call me and I'll say, tell me something good and stick to it. Or I'll say, tell me something good and mean it. And they'll say, tell me something good, whatever that good thing is, right? But it encourages you to stay focused on what that good is or was, so that you can stay in that mindset. Sometimes it's just reminding yourself that you can be good because you have done good. And all of that is real, and all of that is honest, and all of that is ways to give yourself grace. And it's all the process of how we manifest, because we cannot stay motivated if we're not connected to the thing that we're manifesting. And the ways to do the work, right, are all there. Exactly, KB Browns. Tell me something good. I say to people all the time, I'm like, tell me something good and stick to it. Or I'll just say, tell me something good. And people go, what? And I'm like, tell me something good. You got to say something good, because once you say something good, it changes your energy, your attitude, your mindset, the whole 9 yards. Okay. All right, ladies and gents, week 1 of Momentum May is in the books. We have been talking about manifestation. I will bring some of these slides into the conversation for next week. We are getting ready to make boss moves and head over. Is it DJG UK, Misty Christie? Is that how you say it? I might have messed that up, right? Right. Look at you, Christina Music Stocks Follow fam. I love it. I love it. Okay. Listen, folks, appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for the hype train, the bits, the subs, right? Always appreciated, never required. You all are the best community. I appreciate you encouraging each other, putting yourselves and your energy into the chat, okay? And just making sure that you are doing the work intentionally. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to vote for your streamers and your DJs who are up for the BIPOC Awards. Lots of good folks who are out there. Copy the raid message. It is going up into the chat right now. We are going to go over and see DJ GQ UK. Okay. Listen, folks, I am sending you into your Thursday and into your weekend with all of the good energy and light that you need to guide you. Take very good care of yourselves, and we will speak again on Monday.